Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chenmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to everyone. This volume you can increase a little. So we were seeing the laws of the seer and the seen, or the knower and the known. How many did we see? 6 laws. First one, don't see the book. Don't see the book. Book में लिखने का क्या मतलब है? It has to be here, ना? Then only it will apply in our life. नहीं तो book में लिखा है. Book में तो बहुत सारा है. First law is knower and known are different at the same time. Okay. Second law. Knower is one, known are many. Third. Knower is ancient, known is inert. Fourth. Knower cannot become the known. Fifth. Knower is not affected by the properties of the known. And sixth one, knower is changeless, known is changing. So homework was to think about these 6 laws. Did you think? No. Let us see how much you thought. We'll go one by one for each law to understand. So the knower and the known, first law is, are different. So what is the purpose of knowing this? Knower and known are different. Is it not evident that knower and known are different? Okay, so that's the reason for false identification. That's the next law. Knower and known are different. That's the first vivek, separation has to be done, right? So, first point to know in that is that we have not known that there are 2. The knower is separate, known is separate. In that, who is the knower and what is the known, that also one doesn't know. One is thinking, I am the knower and this is the known. And the definition of I is what? This body, mind, intellect, this individuality, right? So, this is a part of the knower. This is the knower or this is the known? From Vedanta standpoint, when we understand, this is actually only the known. So the knower and known are separate. That distinction has to become very, very clear. Not only in theory, not only just to know it, okay, knower and known are different. there are two entities here. In that sense, if we say knower and known are separate. Till now I am experiencing only one, no? That I am the knower. The rest of the world is the known. Now if Vedanta is saying here that knower and known are separate, I should experience two. Am I experiencing two? Yes or no? Not experiencing two? Think. It is not possible that we are not experiencing two. Not only in deep sleep. Right now you are experiencing two. Inside voice is part of the known. Andar ki awaaz is what? Some mental purity by which you have voice of conscience. That is a part of the known. It will come anyway, the description of the known will come. But even right now we are experiencing two. The difficulty, no, here, not outside and this. We are experiencing two here in this entity. Huh? That is the word. Sakshi is there or not? Every minute Sakshi is there or not? How do we know otherwise that, the senses are seeing, the mind is feeling? We won't know at all because the enlivener is the consciousness. Our attention is not on that, that's all. That's why we feel there's only one. That's why those of you who studied Mundaka Upanishad, in that the analogy comes. If you have gone to Chinmay Vibhuti, you would have seen in Swanubhuti Vatika, one tree and two birds. Mundaka Upanishad analogy is there, na? Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vrikshe parishashva jati. They are on the same tree. Tree is the body. Two are the birds. One bird is perched on the lower branch, eating all the fruits. Ekam pipalam swaduvatti. Then anyo anashnan abhichakashiti. Other one is perched on the higher branch. He is not doing anything. He is only watching this first bird who is going on eating. They are of the same variety. That's the example. There are two distinct birds. That's the limitation of example. But idea is there are two even here right now. Just that we don't know. Our attention is not on that. So the purpose of seeing, the purpose of understanding that the knower and the known are different is to first and foremost clearly know that who I am thinking as the knower is not the knower, is the known. And that known is the rest of the laws, perishing, changing, all that. And the knower in me is the witness at the moment. That is changeless. I don't know that. I am thinking I am that Mr. So-and-so. That Mr. So-and-so is also known. It is not the knower. Ultimate knower is only Sakshi. We will come to that. So knower is different from the known. In each of us there is the knower and that ultimate knower. To come to that ultimate knower, all the other laws are there. First is to understand that there are two here. Earlier we didn't know there is only one. Though there are two, there is only one, is what we experience. That Sakshi or the consciousness not known. So one is thinking I am the knower and this is the known. So the confusion of knower and known is that outside this is the known, inside this is the knower. Vedanta is saying no. When the first shloka said that, second shloka said that, idam shariram kaunteya. This is the sharira, O son of Kunti. So whatever I can objectify as this is the known. Kshetramiti abhidhiyate. So if you take this first line as idam If you remove Shariram and Kaunteya, you will get Idam Kshetram iti abhidhiyate. Idam, whatever you call as this, is the field, mean it is the known. And last session we saw that, no? Known means whatever objectified as this. So we don't objectify only the outside world as this. We also say this body, this mind, this intellect, this ego, which we are able to see is different. So this is the known. Then what remains? If we don't have Vedanta samskar, then if all this is known, the world outside also is known, body is known, mind is known, intellect is known, prana is known, ego is known, bacha kya? That generally we will not know, no? We think everything is only known then. But known can't exist without the knower. There is no independent existence of the known. The knower has to be there. Otherwise, who knows? That entity who knows, that is the knower, the ultimate knower. We are doing this entire Vivek for the ultimate knower. Huh? Please remember. This entire Viveka is to only know who is the ultimate knower, who knows everything. So that is said, Etad yo veti. Whoever knows this. Etad means idam. This. Whatever is called as this, whoever knows it is different from this. That's the second law. That's the first law. Knower and known are different. So, etadyo veti tam prahuhu kshetrajna. That is the knower. Knower is different. That is the aham, I, the real I, unconditioned by anything. So that is the meaning of the first. To come to understand correctly what is the known and who is the knower. First law is for that. Today we have mixed up knower and the known. Known is not known. And, knower is not known. And the known has been divided into known and the knower. That's what we have done today. The world outside is also known. BMI is also known. But we have divided BMI as the knower and the world as the known. And the real knower is not known. The best part is the real knower is not known, but I think I know. That's the play of Maya, no? How it is. What is the use of coming to Vedanta? Kya, you have to know who are you. Arey, who are you? नहीं पता तुमको. अच्छा. अरे वही तो नहीं पता है. Full mixture has happened. Now, so that is the first law. Anything else anybody has reflected on the first law? Knower and known are different. Okay, second law. What is the second law? अभी भी बुक ही देख रहे हो. Knower is one, known are many. Do you agree with that? Knower is one, known are many. You agree with that? See. Right now we are not talking about plurality in the sense of many knowers. We are right now talking about in the individual, knower and known. In that context, knower is one, known is many. Is that statement correct? Yes. Pakka? Yes. Okay, now prove to me. So these objects are so many. So known is many. Who is seeing these objects? Eyes. Eyes are one or many? दो आंख तो है कि नहीं? Yeah, but we are coming to that, the law we have to understand should be applicable, no? knower is one, known are many is the law. तो उसमें तो known many है understood. Knower is two eyes, तो दो हो गया ना. Arey, right now we have not come to consciousness, Baba. We are going step by step. Don't jump to the conclusion straight away saying, oh, consciousness is seeing. Consciousness, can it see? Actually, think about it. Can consciousness by itself see? वो तो कुछ नहीं देख सकता है. It is infinite. In that there is no duality. So what will it see? When we are seeing at now, first level of distinction is what? The object and the eyes. So objects are many, eyes are, they appear as two. So if we say, so okay, you said objects are many and the capability of seeing is one. Okay, so if you say that capability of seeing is one, now if I say the sense objects are the known, sense organs are the knower. अब तो सेंस ऑर्गन में वन कैसे होगा? सेंस ऑर्गन 5 हो गया ना. सेंस फैकल्टी 5 हुआ कि नहीं? अब बताओ, नोअर इज वन, नोन आर मेनी. You agreed, na?
So last class you had said that finally the mind, then the mind knows that the eyes have seen, and then.
Right now we are not even going into that. Right now we are only at the level of senses and the world. No?
So in that fashion, like mind will be that ultimate faculty will be the knower, which is only one, and everything else will become known. So like that it will be one and many.
Ultimate factor consciousness is one and then many. Okay, understand.
Not even one, like last class.
We are at the first step right now. Senses are the knower. Sense objects are the known. अब इस लेवल पे प्रूव करो.
Each sense is going to absorb the information of that sense. Like eyes will only see, eyes cannot taste. So relevance अगर देखा जाए तो वो एक ही होगा.
That is with relevance to only that one sense faculty. When I am saying that the sense organs are the knower, sense objects are the known, then
For a dead person, the sense organs are there, but they don't see because it needs the consciousness to see.
Arey, who is telling that consciousness is not required? That's not the logic, na, Amma. That logic. The question is not about consciousness is required or not required. Question is what? Ki prove that the knower is one and known are many.
All the senses are reporting to one single sense inside.
They are reporting, that is their job, they are reporting to the mind.
Reporting to one single entity, Swamiji. So that becomes
Which entity? So the mind also is not one. Mind also is many. When you go back, it will come to that finally. Because the buddhi is the knower of the mind. So the states of the mind are known. Happiness and sorrow and anger and jealousy and greed and so many हो गया फिर. हाँ तो that is only mind.
I think it is not true. There is a star in this. Only with the ultimate knower. It's true. This
That is the answer. The answer is this knower is one and known are many has one asterisk. Conditions apply. Because I said no, the ultimate quest is only to know the ultimate knower. We are saying this ki from sense object to sense organs, from our sense organs to mind, from mind to intellect, intellect to ego, ego to consciousness. This is the process of withdrawal. In that process of withdrawal, what is known today can become knower tomorrow. I mean, at some other point, from some other level. And what is the knower today will become the known. So, that's the one of the laws is that knower and known can't be one at the same time. The point is to do this Vivek only for that ultimate knower, to find the ultimate knower. So this will have limitation. Why I brought this up is because otherwise in reflection we get confused. How can knower be one and the known are many? Where the sense organs are, we have 5 sense faculties of knowledge. अब वो 5 है ये, how it is knower is one. Even as mind, if we say, mind also has so many different states. So it will not apply to the relative realm. It will apply only to realize who is the ultimate knower. So that law has not to be taken as completely independent. Because ultimately consciousness only is non-dual. Everywhere else there is duality which will play, no? So the idea here is to be clear about that. Because otherwise in reflection we will get confused. So no, the senses are the knower, sense objects are the known. So individual sense capability wise we say that yes, the ability to see is one and the objects which are the eyes are seeing are many. So the tongue is one, ability to taste is one. In that there are so many taste buds, so the tongue is able to recognize all those as the known. So this is the sweet taste, this is the sour taste, this is the chili and all that, So the known are many. But the knower is one. Tongue is one, nose is one, eyes are, technically you say as Golak too, but when we say seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, capabilities, there is only one. From the standpoint of the mind, now who knows the state of the senses? Mind knows the state of the senses. Like all of you said, the coordination is done by the mind. So now that mind is one, senses are many. 5 senses it coordinates. So the state of the senses, so if the eye is able to see, not see properly, ear is able to hear, not hear, all those states of the senses is known by the mind. That mind is one. At that point in time, the mind is only coordinating and presenting a complete picture. Response to that can be n number. Seeing a rose, one can think something, one can feel something, that can be many. But at that point in time, it is coordinating all 5 and showing one. So, mind is one, sense faculties are many. Then the states of the mind are also many. Who knows the states of the mind? Intellect will know. Those are the emotional states. Whatever, happiness and sadness and, confidence, low confidence, anything, fear, angry, excitement, all those. Different states of the mind. They are also knower. They are also known. Who is the knower? The intellect in me is the knower. Sometimes the intellect in me is not rationally functioning, so the emotions have overwhelmed and then one is acting based on that. So, buddhi otherwise is the knower, aware. This is the state of the mind. Now it is very interesting. Each of these, the sense objects, the sense organs, the mind, the intellect, and the intellect becomes the known, ego becomes the knower. So I know what I am successful, I am happy, I am successful, I am unsuccessful, I am atheist, I am capitalist, I am very punctual, I am not punctual. All those states of the buddhi, the ego will know. Now, wherever our identification is more, there I become the knower. In the relative realm, that's what happens. If I am fully identified with my senses, then my enjoyment tendency, so I become a bhogi there at that point in time. With the senses, I want to enjoy maximum. If I am identified with the mind, there I become the knower at that point in time with the mind. Yet I am experiencing happiness. We celebrated Holi, such a nice way. We had this time, gala time, this time, that time. They are identified with the emotions. So, wherever our identification is, there I become the knower, the experiencer, and then experience the object, the known. In this, one doesn't understand. If one observes very carefully the shifting of identification, how it happens, then one will immediately know, then that means that I am someone else only. Because I am able to shift. In a car, one does that or not. The driver will shift the gears First gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, whatever. The car driver is not the gear. The driver is shifting the gear means it's different. Same way our identification goes on shifting. Sometimes with the body, sometimes with the mind, sometimes with the intellect, and different times, combination, permutations are n number which are possible. But primary identification at certain times is with certain level of the personality. Like Arjun, when he got completely confused, which level is he identifying with? In the war, before the war, what level was he identifying with? Mind. Overwhelmed with attachment for Bhishma and Drona. Now overwhelmed with attachment with Bhishma and Drona, now Buddhi is eclipsed. Atma to is forgotten completely anyways. Full identification is with the mind. And as a result of that identification, the clarity of Buddhi is gone and physically he becomes weak, throws away bow and arrow, is shivering, sweating, all that is happening to him, right? So wherever the identification is, that knower becomes primary to us at that point in time. And which is why if one observes, see now the mind is getting influenced, now the buddhi is acting rationally, now the body, the senses are creating certain urges, then one will be able to step back. If one doesn't identify, one doesn't step back, one will not be able to realize consciousness because one is getting carried away in the flow of the BMI. So first law, knower and the known are different. Second law, knower is one, known are many. Now we came up to ego level. The states of the ego are one or many. Ego is the knower, it knows the states of the buddhi. States of buddhi are many. Now, states of ego can be many or state of ego is one. Ego and states of ego are they different? That is correct. In waking state, dream state of ego is different. Dream ego one has no Tejas. So ego also has different states. And who is aware of that ego? That is the self. Now tell me, why is it so? Self, when we say consciousness is the knower, then ego becomes the known. So states of ego are many. Consciousness is one. Why consciousness cannot be many now? And why consciousness can't be the known? Till now we saw everything which is a knower at some point becomes the, everything which is a known at some point becomes the knower. Now if we trace back like that, why can't we say consciousness is the also known and something else becomes the knower of that? So let it be the knower. What is the problem in that? So we can say that consciousness now becomes the known and there is another knower of the consciousness. So there will be two consciousnesses. Why not?
If consciousness becomes true, then it is not infinite, and the thing that is not infinite is not consciousness.
Subject is only one. My question is only that, why the subject is one? Because at some point that same thing which was object is one, it was many, then became the subject is one. Which then becomes the object, which again becomes many, the some other knower of it, that becomes one. So same way if you extend it behind, consciousness also at one point is one knower, knows the states of ego, then some other consciousness can be there, which knows the states of this consciousness. So this consciousness becomes many. That is, you have studied somewhere, so you are explaining. I am saying logically explain to me. Valid point in terms of Vedanta ki consciousness is infinite. But right now we are analyzing, na? Ki why consciousness cannot become the known. Consciousness does not change, consciousness is changeless. All that is given here. People are writing in the chat, okay. Simple law. One of the laws, if you see, you will understand. What is the known and what is the knower? Knower is inert. Knower is inert. Known is inert. Knower is sentient. So if consciousness becomes a known, then what will happen? It becomes inert. Simple law. अब ये तो लॉजिक का खेल है अभी पूरा. If consciousness becomes the known, it will become inert, number one. Number two, if you say that consciousness is known by another consciousness, then like he said, two consciousnesses limit each other, they will get finite, they are perishable. Number three, if you say that consciousness is the knower of this consciousness, then who is the knower of that consciousness? Consciousness 1 is known by consciousness 2. Now who knows consciousness 2? Consciousness 3. This will go in infinite regress. इसका तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. We started to find out who the real knower is. पता चला real knower को ही नहीं हो तो चले ही जा रहा है infinitely. It cannot happen like that. That's why in that what we did just now with the first shloka of Drigdrishya Vivek. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. The forms are the known and the eyes are the knower. Tad Drishyam Driktu Manasam. The states of the senses are known by the mind. States of the mind are known by buddhi. So, Drishyadhivrittayaha Sakshi. And the states of the buddhi are known by the Sakshi, the consciousness in us. Now, last line of that shloka says, Drigeva natu drishyate. Sakshi is Drigeva, is only the knower. It will never become the known. Every other thing will become knower at some point, known at some other point. But this will never become the known. It cannot become the known. If it becomes the known, then it is inert. Then there is no more sentiency. Then none of this will function. So consciousness is the ultimate knower, which never becomes the known. And that which never becomes the known, that ultimate knower is I. How do we experience it? Then the example of deep sleep will come. That all this body, mind, objects, senses, mind, intellect, ego, all this become dormant in deep sleep, yet I am. That means I am that consciousness. I am not this, any of this. Because if I was any of this, then in the absence of this, I should not be there. Right? But even when these are not there, I still am. That means I am not these. These are only my tool. Very simple. So this is the second law. Rupam Drishya, the first verse of Drigdrishya Vivek will explain this second law very clearly. That knower is one, known are many. Third law is what? That just now we saw. Knower is sentient, known is inert. At every level you keep doing that, you will understand. Ultimate sentiency comes only from consciousness. There is no doubt in that. So when we want to know, the knower is sentient, known is inert, then everything which is known by the ultimate knower in its nature by itself is inert only. Sentiency only comes from consciousness. By itself, this doesn't have any sentiency. Which means that what we think that this is running on autopilot, by itself this is going on, this cannot go on by itself. Now that point what you said will apply. That in a dead body, the expression of consciousness we can't see there. Because subtle body has ejected out of it. So existence is still there, but stimulus and response, the ability to grasp the stimulus and give response, that is not there. Because the subtle body has gone out. So if subtle body by itself was having its own sentiency, then this gross body, body by itself, if it was having its sentiency, then it should not have been incapable of perceiving or responding. But this is dependent on something else, which if it has gone out of the body, this cannot respond. So what is it dependent on? Subtle body, which is, how many items subtle body? Subtle body कितने items? 21 बोल रही है वो तो. That's why I am saying Tattvabodh master karo again and again. 19 items only for subtle body. जो gross body को छोड़ के बाहर जाता है वो 21 होगा. Subtle body has only 19. बाकी दो कहां से आए? बाकी दो कहां से आए? बचा क्या? ग्रॉस बॉडी, सटल बॉडी, ये तो हो गया. तो बचा क्या? कॉजल बॉडी. वहीं से तो आए बाकी दो, अविद्या और वासना. So gross body by itself doesn't have sentiency. Example we saw, dead body will not have ability to express life. What about subtle body? Can we say subtle body has sentiency on its own? Why? My question is to you that only. You are saying for mind to perform we need consciousness. Why? Why can't we say mind has its own sentiency? Why do you say they are inert? Which subtle tattva? For mind to express, there is the gross body required, but the mind has left the gross body and gone, no? Our question is that, is the mind not having its own sentiency? Why is the mind not having its own sentiency if you say it is not having its own sentiency? If you say it has its own sentiency, prove how. This bulb example not applicable here. You have to give me the reasoning why you say mind is not... So that doesn't mean mind doesn't have its own sentiency. Na? वो तो logic अलग है.
But how will the mind express itself without, if you leave, the subtle body has left the gross body, then how will the subtle body express itself or by itself?
It doesn't need to express itself. No, that
By
doesn't.
itself is not existing then.
It is existing. Who said it is not existing? It is existing after body dies. That is the answer. Tattvabodh again. Mind is made up of the subtle 5 elements. Which aspect of the subtle 5 elements? ये भी बताओ जरा. इसके बाद जाके तत्वबोध 100% आपको वापस पढ़ना पड़ेगा. हर क्लास में मैं कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे पूछता ही रहूंगा, क्योंकि जब तक तत्वबोध मास्टर नहीं किया कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. Correct. And what happens? So from where the senses are made? Senses are made from which part of the 5 elements? अगले क्लास से सब डिसअपियर ही हो जाएंगे यहाँ से. बोले स्वामी जी कुछ ज्यादा ही सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. Each sense is a different element, but which aspect of the element is my question. Senses are made from tamasic aspect. Somebody is in the chat saying rajasic aspect. No. I am saying sincerely to everybody, please go study Tattva Bodh. There are talks available of different Swamijis, Brahmacharis, on Chinmaya Shivam, on Chinmaya International Foundation.
पंची करने में लिया हुआ.
No. Senses are made up of Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. Body is made up of Panchamahabhuta, which is grossified. Jnana Indriyas are made from one aspect, each Jnana Indriya is made from one element. The sattvic aspect of the space gives rise to ability to hear, not ears. Ability to hear. Sattvic aspect of air gives rise to what? Ability to touch. Fire gives rise to ability to see. Then water gives rise to ability to taste. And smell comes from sattvic aspect of earth, the tanmatra, unmixed. Combined sattvic aspect of all the 5 elements gives rise to sense organs. Each element ka sattvic aspect se one sense got created. The combined sattvic aspect of all the 5 elements gives rise to what? Mind. Mind. Not subtle body. Don't say subtle body, because that is wrong answer. Mind. Why that is wrong answer? Because subtle body has 19 elements. All 19 elements didn't come out of this. Rajasic aspect of 5 elements gives rise to what? One aspect, one element, Rajasic aspect will give rise to the karma indriyas. Technically, if we say the sattvic aspect of all the 5 senses, all the 5 elements will give rise to antakarana. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Those 4, not only mind. By mind I meant all the 4, but technically if we are speaking, it is mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. That will come out of the sattvic aspect. Rajasic aspect of each element will give rise to what? The senses of action. See, it's very simple to understand. We don't have to memorize all this. If you understand the principle, it will get absorbed. Sattva is the principle of knowledge. So what is knowledge? Jnana Indriya is knowledge. So sattvic aspect of 5 elements give rise to the senses. And the combined sattvic aspect gives rise to mind. Rajoguna main quality is action. So karma indriya. One element will give rise to one capability of action. Combined rajasic aspect of all will give rise to what? Simple answer है ये तो. I gave you the clue. Rajoguna is activity. No, not Jnanendriyas. Karmendriyas to aa gaya. Individual elements are giving Karmendriyas. Combined Rajasic aspect gives rise to what? Simple answer hai Baba. What is that which is energizing? Prana. Combined Rajasic aspect of all the 5 elements will give rise to prana. What happens to the tamasic aspect of all the 5 elements? Sattvic aspect gave rise to 5 senses of knowledge and combined gave rise to mind. Rajasic aspect gave rise to 5 senses of action and combined gave rise to prana. Now what happens to tamasic aspect? Lata Parthi Amma is giving correct answers in this chat. Very good, I am very happy. आप बताओ इधर. Last class I spoke about it. बचा क्या आपकी पर्सनालिटी में? ग्रॉस बॉडी बता. इतना क्या सोच रहे हो आप लोग, बाप रे. बचा क्या? एक सब प्राण हो गया, सेंसेस हो गया, अंतःकरण भी हो गया. अब बचा क्या? अविद्या बची और ये स्थूल शरीर बचा. और क्या बचा? वासना बची. ये बना कैसे लेकिन? फ्रॉम द तामसिक एस्पेक्ट, हाउ डिड दिस कम? After the grossification. So first they will go through Panchikarana process. Then this grossification, the 5 grossified elements will combine to become this body and this entire world of names and forms. Now what is the purpose of knowing all this, you tell me? क्या फर्क पड़ता है अगर हमको नहीं पता या पता है तो? If I know this theory, कि which element say what came, what is the purpose of this? That is the ultimate purpose, correct. But in this knower and known ka difference mein, where does this fit in? So when we are saying that this is body by itself is inert and it requires subtle body, then somebody thinks that subtle body has sentiency on its own. Because subtle body left, the gross body died. So subtle body has sentiency on its own. But subtle body doesn't have sentiency of its own. Why? Because it is made up of 5 elements only. Just that it is made up of subtler 5 elements. This is made up of grosser 5 elements. Which is why we say mind over matter. But both mind and matter are matter only from the ultimate standpoint. So, even subtle body doesn't have its own sentiency. Tattva body is required to even know that fundamental, because otherwise we will confuse. But subtle body being subtle has the ability to reflect consciousness in it. And so consciousness reflecting in the subtle body makes the subtle body sentient. Which then identifying with the gross body makes the gross body sentient. But that consciousness which is reflecting in the subtle body is called what? Chidabhas, or reflected consciousness. That is not independent, that is not the sentiency of the subtle body. It is belonging to that consciousness only. So the ultimate knower is only consciousness, the ultimate sentient factor is only consciousness. Everything that is known is only inert. That is the third law. That the known is inert and the knower is sentient. So Sakshi will never become the known. Sakshi is the sentient one. Now what is the fourth law? Knower cannot be the known at the same time. That is very clear. At different points in time, the known can be the knower. But at the same time, the knower cannot be the known. Now, fifth one is the knower is not affected by the properties of the known. Again, very simple. Eyes are seeing. Are they affected by it? They are not affected. They are seeing it clearly. The tongue tastes so many different tastes, but by itself it remains tasteless. Same way, so what this means, even at sensory level, detachment is my nature. We think we got attached. Without this I can't live. But even at sensory level, detachment is only our nature. If somebody says, no, I don't know what is detachment, I'm a very attached person, Swamiji. If you don't have detachment, you can't live 1 second in life. Think about it. If our eyes hold on to everything it sees, then you can't see anything else. Because it will now hold on to this. Now how will it see something else? It has to leave this to see something else. The tongue, if it holds on to the food that it is eating and doesn't let go, then it can't eat more food. The food will remain here only. I have to let go. And growth is in letting go. But people think in attachment there is growth. Without attachment, how will we grow? Are with attachment only you will feel sorrow. So senses also teach detachment. Mind also teaches detachment or not. However miserable I may be, that thought will change or not. Maybe I keep reliving that for a long time, I keep suffering, but it will change. However good time may be, it will end. 45 days कुंभ खत्म हो गया ना, कुंभ 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 45 days चला, उसके बाद finished. Now it's over. So it will change. Most attached person also in deep sleep has to drop everything or not. And if somebody is not able to drop, then what happens? They can't get sleep. IJ, Instagram joke. पानी पूरी होती है, भेल पूरी होती है, सेव पूरी होती है, नींद पूरी नहीं होती. लेकिन एक जगह पे नींद पूरी होती है, सत्संग में. इसीलिए मेरे क्लास में मैं प्रश्न पूछते रहता हूं ताकि सबकी नींद आती हो तो भी उड़ जाएगी. So the knower and the known, when we do this discrimination, then we understand that the knower is not affected by the properties of the known. Ultimately, तो obviously say consciousness is not affected by anything. Which means the entire thing, whatever is happening, is not affecting me, the real truth, true nature of mind. And कितना one is going through up and down कि ऐसा हो गया, वैसा हो गया, इन्होंने ऐसा बोल दिया, उन्होंने वैसा कर दिया. अरे you are not that at all. So even if we drop at consciousness level, chalo very high level, Swamiji, we are not able to identify. Even at the mind level, it's only if I allow it to affect me, it can affect me. Otherwise, can it affect? It cannot affect. The known, the properties of the known cannot affect the knower. How many people have proved this or not? Stephen Hawking is one example. Like that, you can see so many examples. What is the condition of his body? What all he went through, but did not allow that to affect the mind. And then through that, whatever that equipment he had, he was communicating. And he did continue to do whatever, development in science. If I allow it to affect me, then the properties of the known will affect the knower at the relative level. At consciousness level, it will never affect, that's superimposition. But at this level, if I allow it to affect, only it will affect. If I don't allow it to affect, how many people are there who have healthy bodies, but they don't utilize that potential at all? And there are people who are such specially challenged people, but they are manifesting their full potential because they don't, limit themselves. Imagine just now, Sunita Williams, 8 दिन के लिए जाना था space में. You go for 8 days. And then you are getting extended 9 months. What level of resilience of the mind is required, acceptance is required, equanimity is required, balance is required. In space, there is no other form of entertainment available, nothing. You are stuck with whoever, 2, 3, 4 people, whoever are there, that's it. And the danger is what? What happened to Kalpana Chawla could happen. That spacecraft was in defect. So if it enters the atmosphere, it will burst. Now that fear, imagine. Imagine when coming down, what can be the state of mind after 9 months being there? And I read, I don't know how true it is, I have not validated it, but they said NASA is going to give them 1 lakh rupees for staying 9 months there. 1 lakh rupees. 9 mahine ka stay there, what kind of mental trauma and what all they would have gone through, and physically the body is now going to be in such difficult. 1 lakh rupees. What is the point? If I don't allow this to affect me, then I'm not affected. I can, circumvent whatever limitations are. That is at the relative level. But at the consciousness level, entire thing means my whole life, whatever has happened, is only a dream. Now, if I understand that entire life of mine is just a dream, it is not real at all. In that I am identified with one incident which happened some 10 years ago. I am still crying for it. Our whole life only is a dream. In that, what am I holding on to? One little thing against somebody and then feeling miserable about it or scared about it or whatever. Think. These are so many practical implications. Ultimately, it is to know the consciousness, there is no doubt. But practical implications of Vedanta itself are so many. That detachment is my nature. Why should I go on strengthening attachment? If I don't allow it, nothing will affect me. Third, entire life is just a dream. And like that, how many lives have already passed? When will I actually wake up to know who am I? Though every minute this is expressing, consciousness is expressing, but my attention is not on that, it is on something else. So whole effort is what? Only to shift from the known to the knower and remain as the knower. I am going on identifying with the known and different levels of the known. So to withdraw from all that and operate from that state ki I am not the known, I am the ultimate knower which never becomes the known. So the knower will never become the known. Means creation never came out. That's the ultimate point. Srishti never manifested only. The rope never will give rise to a snake. The dreamer never actually became the dream creator or the dream world or the dream character. It didn't happen. But it's only an appearance. That appearance is there. So as long as one is in it, one thinks it is real. So if I understand this, the knower never becomes the known. The ultimate knower will never become the known. Meaning it will never become inert, it will never become objectified, it will never change. And so if it doesn't change, there is no Srishti possible. Logically, if you think logically, creation is a logical impossibility. How can creation happen? You think about it. Logically, because anything that is changing can't give rise to the creation. And changeless will never give rise to creation. So then, how is creation there? Logically, it is not possible. So the knower never becomes the known. The dream character, the dream world, the dreamer, it's not that the waker has become that. Waker is only appearing. And lucky, waker has not become that. It's only appearance. If you and I become what we dream, complete chaos, You slept as a human being, got up as what? I think Bhagwan should do that sometime. Then only people will live in self-control. Otherwise, night they are watching horror movies and all that. Pata chala subah utha to bhuti ban gaya hai to. Because he slept with that thought, he became that. Doesn't happen. So the knower will never become the known, and the knower will never be affected by the properties of the known. Ultimate knower. Like the screen will never be affected by the scenes or the movie that is projected. So in me there is that center which never gets affected with the heaviest of sorrows or the greatest of excitement. And is it not strange that though it is experienced by us every moment, we still feel, I don't know that. We still feel, I don't have peace. Peace is my nature. Every single moment I am experiencing only peace actually. But because the mind has gone away from it, I am thinking, now I have to become peaceful, I have to do this much sadhana, I have to do that and that. Nothing affects that infinite consciousness, even in the most difficult time and even in the most happiest of times. It just remains changeless. That changeless center, if we come to pass, that is called Brahman. That is what we say in the Gita. Bhagavan said in 5th chapter, Samam Brahma. Brahman is of the nature of equanimity. There is no up and down, there is no turbulence, nothing. It is changeless center. So if this much has been known now, the last law says knower is changeless and the known is changing. Everything that is changing, if you negate, that remains, what remains is the changeless truth. That is the ultimate knower. So this is the purpose of knowing the 6 laws, and they have a lot of implications in sadhana. They are not some intellectual information. They are meant for us to operate from this center of our personality, that I am that consciousness, now playing these roles. And let these not affect me, because the fact is it doesn't affect me. So now second shloka is what we saw. This third and fourth and fifth now will become very easy. If these laws are understood, the third shloka Bhagavan says, Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi Sarva kshetreshu bharata Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam Yattadjnanam matam mama. Now see, very interesting what has come. First, in the first shloka which Bhagavan spoke, the answer that he gave, in that he said that whatever you call idam is the kshetra, and the knower of it is different from this, that is the kshetrajna. Who is that kshetrajna? Bhagavan says that kshetrajna is me. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi. Know me as the knower of the field. So in each one the kshetrajna is who? Is Bhagavan. This is like a Mahavakya only. Straight away, this means Tattvamasi. Bhagavan said, I am that consciousness in you. You are not this BMI, you are that infinite consciousness. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi. And is that kshetrajna different in each one? That kshetrajna is one infinite consciousness in each one. It is not different. Vedanta says this very clearly. Please remember. Sankhya will not say this. Sankhya says in each one the kshetrajna is different. And their definition of kshetrajna also is different. See, they don't use the word kshetrajna, they use the word purusha. Prakriti and purusha. The purusha is different in each one, as per the Sankhya philosophy. And purusha is subservient to prakriti. That will come as we go ahead also, we will see. But the point here is, consciousness is same in everyone. Why? If the kshetrajna is different in each one, then again the kshetrajna becomes the perishable, the known, inert, finite, gone. Then it's not kshetrajna anymore. It will become idam. No? The moment it becomes many, it will become idam. Because knower is only one. Known are many. Kshetrajna is only one. No, Swamiji, how can it be like that? In each one there will be different. Even Jain philosophy believes that. And there though it is little different. In what context? The size of the body determines the size of the Atma. That is one part of Jain philosophy. So the Atma in the ant is smaller, Atma in the dog is bigger, Atma in the tiger is more bigger, Atma in the elephant is very big, Atma in the dinosaur is very, very big. Which means to say that the Prakriti is affecting the Purusha. In different way it is, but it is similar Siddhanta only. That's why when we come to Vedanta, these questions are asked. That why do you say that all the kshetrajna, in all the kshetrajna is one. So the example Vedanta gives is what? Of the sun. Sun is one and 100 buckets of water it is reflecting. So the reflections are 100. But does it mean sun is 100? Sun is one only. So if Krishna is that sun and the reflection is all the jivas, then he can say that Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Know that I am that Kshetrajna in all the Kshetras. I am that sun who is reflecting in all the buckets of water. Now this is the Mahavakya, which means what? That not only I am infinite consciousness, but each one in this universe is divine. Each one is infinite consciousness only. It is not that the Jivan Mukta feels that I am Brahman, you are all deluded fools. The vision of Brahman, vision of the Jivan Mukta is what? Brahman alone is. All are Brahman. And that's why the Jivan Mukta says, Na bandhur na mitram gurur naiva shishya. There is no guru shishya also from Jivan Mukta standpoint. That shishya bhav is only from the shishya standpoint. Guru doesn't even see the shishya as a shishya. For playing the role, the guru may do some things as a shishya, for the shishya, but for the guru, the vision is everything is Brahman alone. So the first line is actually saying, Kshetrajnam chapimam vidhi, is to say that we are infinite. Each one as an individual. And then Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata means all are divine. The entire Srishti is appearance of one truth only. Now this knowledge, Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam, this knowledge of the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna, Bhagavan says, Yat Tat Jnanam Matam Mama. In his opinion, this is called Jnanam. Ahead also he will speak about Jnanam, that we will see different. But what is true Jnanam? You think about it. Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the knowledge of both this is true Jnanam. Which means the knowledge of the field and the knower of the field. And the clear distinction between what is the field and who is the knower. That clarity is called knowledge. That's why I said when we read all this, then we feel, in beginning when I came to Vedanta and I started reading all this, I felt really like a dumb fool. I said, कितने साल गुजर गए भाई, हमको पता ही नहीं ये सब. Nobody told. And we are thinking कि अरे I am this, I have studied this, I have studied that, and I know this and I know that, and I went to this country and I went to that university, and Phalana and Dhikna is all rotating inside Kshetra. With complete confusion about Kshetra as well as Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna तो पता ही नहीं, कुछ गलत चीज को एक Kshetrajna मान लिया. Full confusion. And Bhagavan is saying, Yatta Jnanam Matam Mama, this is what is called knowledge. We must have the knowledge of both the changing world as well as the changeless truth. We are not even having the proper knowledge of the changing world. How many people are even taught this, that how to live in a changing world? Today biggest difficulty is that, no? They call it VUCA world. A VUCA world also has become very old terminology. Volatile, uncertain, competitive, something, I forgot now, whatever it is. VUCA world. And they call us to give talks. How to prepare yourself for the VUCA world. Please give us the talk. Basic point is what? Be detached, focus on the process, do what is your duty. All that when we explain, be in a learning mode, be innovative, all that. But that knowledge also one doesn't get in the schools and colleges. Okay, how to be detached, how to handle the world in the changing realm, how to live. Suddenly death happens, suddenly this, breakup happens. Where is it taught? How to live in the changing world also we don't know. That there is something called changeless, no idea. And I am that changeless, so completely gone. So, this is our Gurukul Paddhati, where both this knowledge was given. 25 years when somebody is saying ki Brahmacharya Ashram, in that 6 years or 8 years by the time he goes to Gurukul, and by the time completes and comes back some 20 years, 22 years. So in that 12, 14 years period, we'll get to know all this. Imagine, where do we know? Our teenagers, our youngsters don't know many of this. So when Bhagavan says, Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam, the knowledge of the Kshetra and the knowledge of the Kshetrajna. And this he will say again and again in the Gita. In the 15th chapter also he will say this. First shloka itself. Urdhva moolam adha shakham ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavit. Whoever knows the root of the samsara as well as the samsara, that person is a vedavit. अभी रूट भी नहीं पता है, संसार भी नहीं पता है, अपने आप को बोले जा रहे हैं कि आई एम वेरी एजुकेटेड, एंड देन डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशंस कम, ब्रेक डाउन हो गया, डिप्रेशन हो गया, श्रिंक के पास जाओ. ऑल दैट, व्हाई इज इट हैपनिंग? बिकॉज दिस नॉलेज इज नॉट देयर. क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोर ज्ञानम यत्तद ज्ञानम मतम मम. सो नाउ हैविंग एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस, दैट दिस इज कॉल्ड ज्ञानम. व्हाट इज द क्षेत्र एक्चुअली? And then he will start listing some aspects of the kshetra. That we will take up in our next satsang. Your homework is, you study this verse number 4, 5, 6, 7. Isko padho. I can ask you questions on that. Let us see how. हाँ, पहले तत्वबोध तो पढ़ो ही. वो तो that is already gone. Unsaid. सिर्फ पढ़ना नहीं, उसको ठीक से समझ लो बस. There is no need to memorize at all. I am not sat down and memorized कि अच्छा ये ऐसा ऐसा ऐसा. No, one has to just understand it. The principle, if you understand, then it's over. Okay, so we stop here today. So we thank all our Yajmans, the Aarti Yajmans, Mukhya Yajman for all the sessions, Tarana ji, Parag Wagh, Vandana ji and Bharat Khanna ji. Aarti Yajman for all the sessions, Hemant Kumar ji, Jyotsna ji, Chitra ji, Ajay ji, Rajan ji, Ajay Merchant ji, Swati Chavan ji, Nalini ji, Jayashri ji, Nandita ji, Vaishali ji, Vijaya ji, Dipti ji and Manjari ji. Today's Dainik Yajman, Venugopal Nair ji. So आप आज आरती के लिए आ जाइए. Our Mukhya Yajman also is Kalpana Morparia ji. Venugopal ji is today's Dainik Yajman. He can come and do the Aarti. And today's Aarti Yajman, Deepika Desai ji, Ila Desai ji. So, we invoke God's grace, Gurudev's blessings on all the Yajmans, their families, and everyone present here. May Bhagwan bless us with this Vivek of the Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and bless us with the Jnana of both Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and may we experience our nature as consciousness. Om Tat Sat. Before we do the Aarti, one announcement. This is a bag which we have, living the Gita way of life. So some bags are kept there. Anybody, if you want to buy, this is available for 100 rupees. Simple. Some of you may have it if you have attended earlier courses. If not, you can buy this.
ॐ जय भगवत गीते मैया जय भगवत गीते हरि रघुनाथ विधा